Good evening, my name is Jake Folger and I am an artist sculptor, and today we're going to make a fairy house. It's going to be kind of a tree design, a little bit different than some of the other ones we've done. Started off rolling a shape in clay here that's kind of like the shape that I want, and it's going to be like a tree, so it's going to be wider down here than at the top. So I can form it with my hands like this, or roll it kind of like that. I do want it a little bit flat on the top. Maybe a little thinner here, so you can roll it between your hands to get a nice uniform cone shape. Kind of flatten it at the top there. Now what we can do is we can take, go ahead, and you want to condition your clay, of course, you know, because you got to mix up all the ingredients in there since it's polymer clay. If we take little bits of clay like this, and so you start by rolling a ball, and then you can roll it a little bit into a cone shape like that. We're basically going to make some roots coming down off of it. See how I did that? I'll twist it into place. You can blend it in like that. Get another one. Now this is Sculpey 3 that I'm working with. Rolling it, and then rolling it between my fingers to create a cone shape like that, and then just kind of work it into the tree like that, and then blend it in. You can use any kind of clay that you want for this project. And the roots can be, you know, basically random sizes. They don't have to be all the same. You're just making little cones and then putting them on, blending them in. And blend them in on the bottom as well. Like that. Rolling a ball and rolling it into a cone shape like that. Blend it in all the way around. Don't worry if it's a little bit rough, because we're going to go back and later and smooth it out a little bit and add some texture. See, like that. Blend it in all the way around. I want to beef this one up a little bit. So I'm going to just take some clay and add it right to it. Now we're going to go ahead and start the door. I'm going to carve in the shape I want. So I'm just going to draw a line like that. And I think that might work. Can make that a little deeper. Now you can have the door be any shape you want. This is a wood sculpting tool. It's for doing this. You can reach in and actually carve out clay that way. It's kind of neat if you can have the door inset, you know, like carved into the tree like this. You can get tools like this at an art supply store. You just pull the clay off the tool when you and then, you know, when you're doing that, when you're carving it like that, sometimes the edges will flare like that, and you can just blend them, kind of erase them with your finger. You can clean up the edges on the inside of the doorway there. So it's kind of like that. Then also, I always do this. I mean, I like the way it looks, so I do a lot. And that is to add planking to the door, basically by carving in lines like that. I got a little bit of that flaring that I was just telling you about, so I'm trying to clean that up a little bit. And then I'll draw another line. One more over here. And then over on this side. So it looks like that. This actually might look a little difficult. I'm going to show you something. I do it once in a while. It's kind of neat. What you do is you roll a little noodle of clay like this, like I'm doing here. Pardon me. And you can take a paintbrush handle like this here and wrap it around it. So the purpose of the handle is to act as like a guide. And this is to make a door ring. Then what I'll do is take a pair of scissors and just cut off that excess right there. like that. And then I'll just kind of blend the two ends together carefully. And then I'll slowly turn, by turning the handle and holding on to the ring, I can free it up from the sticking from the to the handle. And then I put it where I want it. On the door. And just pull the handle off. And just keep in mind that by turning the handle while you're trying to move the ring off is going to help a lot. And then you just press it into place. Then you can take, I'm going to bring this up close so you can see it. I'm going to take a very small, another small, very small noodle of clay. And I'm going to put it in the center of the ring. Like that. I'm going to find my knife here, and then I'm going to cut that at the top there. Pull it out. And then just press it into place. And for the part that's inside the ring, I'll just press it in place with the handle. And then it's like a little bracket. Isn't that nice? I mean, it's really nice. So that really adds to it. And so when we finish the door, we'll do the door, you know, in some color like green or whatever. And then we'll do the handle in either bronze or silver. And it'll be nice. The ring. Be really nice. Okay, so now we're going to do a window. And what I'm going to do is just draw it in like I drew in the door. Like that. I just want to make sure it's centered on the door. And then I just want to cut in a little further with the knife. This is a wood sculpting knife. And you can get these at the art store too. And you can get them online. And then you can take your this tool here. I'm not actually sure the name of it, but they're pretty easy to find. Clay sculpting tools, that's what you would look under. And then just you have that flaring, so you have to kind of smooth that. I call it healing or blending. Then I'll take this sculpting tool here and just kind of clean it up in there. Like that. I'm just sort of blending and smoothing and that sort of thing. And another thing you can do is you can take your the sharper sculpting tool and you can put in lines for the window. Like that. Now what you can do is we have to do the roof. So we're going to get some clay here. Move this back out of the way. Make it a little bit smaller. And I'm going to start with a ball, shaping it to a ball like that. And then I'm going to roll it into kind of a smooth ball. Like that. And then I'm going to start rolling it into a cone shape. And by holding my hands at an angle like that and applying light pressure, it'll create the cone shape that I want. So it looks like that. And then I'm going to press in with my thumb on the bottom while kind of rotating it. And then squeezing it like this, I'm going to sort of start flaring it out. Like that. So it should go on the house like that. And you want the peak of the roof to come to a point. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to press my thumb in the middle and kind of draw down the sides of the roof a little bit. So it will become more concave on the inside of the roof. So that's what it should look like. Okay, we're going to use some galvanized steel wire here just to secure the roof to the main part of the house. So what I'm going to do is use some wire cutters like this to cut about 4 inches off the spool there. I'm just going to stick it down into the center of the tree, leaving about 2 inches. I'm going to take a sculpting knife and I'm going to score the top of the tree to make it nice and rough. And I'll show you here in just a minute. So I got that scored, I got the wire in there. Then where the tree is going to join the roof, I'm going to score that. Get that nice and rough. And then I'm going to put this on with the wire going up into the center of the roof. Slide the roof down on the tree and then twist it and push downwards. Like that, so it should look like that underneath. It's a nice tight bond and it will be really sturdy. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to make shingles. We're going to make shingles for the roof. And so what we do basically is roll the ball like this. And we actually want to make a bunch of balls because we're going to go all the way around the roof. So let me make it a little bit bigger. So the best thing to do, they can be, you know, slightly different sizes, but mostly the you want to make them about the same size. Now it's a fairy house, so the shingles being different sizes, slightly different sizes, is not going to matter a whole lot, because there's something about fairy houses that are, you know, they tend to be somewhat haphazard, you know, like this door. The door is kind of haphazard, so that's what I mean by that. So it's okay if the shingles are going to be a little bit different. And we just need lots of balls. So I'm going to be making balls and you'll be making balls, and then we'll come back in a few minutes. Okay, I'm going to pull this a little closer here. Now one thing that it's good to do is lean the roof a little bit this way, and then kind of turn the top a little bit, just to add some, you know, kind of humor to it a little bit. So it looks like that. And then you can take the balls and you roll them a little bit beforehand, and then you just flatten them out. So it looks like that, but not too thin. And you lay it on so it's hanging down below this lip here, below the lip. And then once you put it on there, you blend in the top. So it looks like that. So you just flatten it, put it on so it's hanging down below the lip, and then you go around. And you want to do the first course first, and then you want to go above that from there. It's time consuming, but it's really not hard to do. It's really easier if you can roll your balls first for it. So that's how it looks, the first course. The next course that you do, you want to start in the middle between two of them. That's staggering it. I'm going to try to keep that going all the way around. You also want to come down to that dividing line and just cover it. So what I mean by that is, so this line here ends right there, So you want to bring your shingle to right about there. It's still haphazard, but you know, laying them on like this, obviously it's going to be haphazard, but you still want to follow some rules of a roof. Try to keep some rules going. And you can make your fairy house any size you want using the same techniques and methods of building a fairy house like I'm doing here. So if you want to make it smaller, you can make it smaller, and you can make it bigger. And the further up you get, the harder it is to maintain those rules. It gets harder and harder, but that's okay. If you think you like this this video, I'd really appreciate it if you would hit the like button, but also share it with your friends and any social media you happen to be on. I really do appreciate that. Now I start as I'm coming up to the end there, I just start forming it out, kind of blending it up towards the to the point like that. And just sort of blending it up to the point. And then you can go around and you know, do any blending that you need to do. Might be nice to add a few mushrooms. So you can roll a ball. What I do is I rotate it in my hands, and then I'm pinching the ends, the side of it. So it looks like that. You can make it any shape you want, though. And then you can take another ball, a smaller ball, and roll it into like a cone shape, like that. Underneath the cap of the mushroom, you can score it, and then score the top of the stalk, like that, and twist the two parts to be joined together. You also can take a sculpting knife and just blend it there in the bottom. Where it joins where the stalk joins the mushroom top. I'll put one right there. Put it up against the house, sort of curve the stalk in, curving the mushroom out. Just work it into the house a little bit, and then blend in the stock. And you can put them randomly around the house. You know, they can go anywhere really, but they just really just add to the house. So I just rotate it in my hands and I'm pinching it. That way it leaves, you know, it leaves it like that, the mushroom top like that. Store it. Twist the two parts together. It gives it a pretty good bond just doing that, and then you can blend the stock into the mushroom top. I think I'm going to put it like right about here. Okay, so next we're going to put some texture in the tree. And you can use a sculpting knife for this, and all you're doing basically is drawing lines in and you definitely want to keep your knife clean while you're doing this. So just take your fingers like that each time you draw a line, or every couple lines. And you know, rather than you know, just, you know, scratching it, you know, and trying to get through it as quick as you can, it's kind of nice to just take your time and, you know, sculpt the lines. Nice flowing lines, curving lines. You can do a long line, and then you can do a shorter line. They don't all have to be long lines, which are even hard for me to do, to get a nice clean line the whole way. And remember that flaring I told you about? That can happen here as well, and so you just take your time and you can clean up the line every time you put one in. You can pat it like this. There's a little bit of that flaring happening here. You can pat it down with your finger, or, you know, slide your hand down. Of course, that might obscure what you just did. and then press down the flares, pat them down. Also, by patting it down, it actually kind of adds to the subduedness of the texture that you just put in. So it's kind of nice to do that too for that reason. Next, we'll put a finish on it. Okay, we're going to be using Pearl X Pigments. That's my favorite finish, especially for fairy related things. And the best way to apply it is to put it into a lid like this. And you can cradle the house in your hand. Don't grip it, just cradle it. And then you can dip your finger into the bronze like this, swirl it with your finger to sort of subdue it a little bit, and then just highlight the tree. And it's a really nice, pretty finish. And whatever you can't reach with your finger, because your finger is broad, you can do with a brush. But I encourage you to get as much as you can with your finger, because it just looks a lot better when you do it that way. I also recommend doing the bottom with your with your finish as well, just so the finish has continuity throughout. So you notice I'm just cradling the house in my hand. I'm not really gripping it, and that will prevent you from deforming the tree. Then you can take a paintbrush and just dip it into the bronze, and then kind of take the excess off on the table or a paper towel or something like that, and then just go around and touch up wherever you couldn't reach with your finger. Now what I'm going to do is I like purple a lot, and so I'm going to clean my brush off. I have a rag in my lap, and I'm just going to get some purple in my brush, take off the excess like I just normally do, and just go over the roof. I'm not looking to cover the whole thing. I just want to get a nice dusting on there. This is actually, the color is actually called Reflex Violet. I call it purple. Now what I like to do is I like to take a little bit of the bronze on my finger and just kind of highlight just very lightly, very lightly. It's strikingly beautiful, I have to tell you. On the video, I'm not sure if you can get the gist of it, really. If you can, I hope you can, but if you can't, you must try this. It's quite beautiful. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I want to put a little bit of silver. I've got silver here. I've already got it in the lid. Clean up my brush really good. And I'm going to get a little bit of my brush. And I'm going to do the window lightly. Because I think it looks like glass myself, that's what I think. And I'm going to get a little bit also on the ring, on the door ring. And then I want to do, you know, actually, I think I'm going to do the door in purple because I've got the purple up here. And I want to carry it over into another part of the house. I think it'll look nice. I get a little purple on my brush. And get the door here. Like that. I'm going to do the mushrooms in sky blue, which is kind of a silvery light blue color. And it's a nice contrast to the tree that's done in bronze. Now if you got any other colors on the different parts of the house that you didn't want to be there. You can touch them up with the appropriate color. So I just got some sky blue on the tree, so I'm going to just touch that up. Then you'll want to bake it. In the video description down below the video, there is a tool and supply list that covers everything that we're using today. Also, there's clay baking instructions, okay? And then finally, there's a playlist for other fairy house videos I've done, in case you want to see some of the other videos and have easy access to them. So, follow the instructions, bake the house, and then we'll come back. Okay, so I made a little fairy garden with some preserved moss, and we got our house nestled into it. And I'm going to put a source for the moss in the video description and the tool and supply list. The company is Super Moss, and it's really nice preserved moss. And that's about it. That's how we make a tree fairy house and in polymer clay. If you like this kind of content, please subscribe to my channel. I do a lot of videos along these lines. Please give the video a thumbs up and share it with your friends and on others on social media places that you might be. Leave me a comment or a question and I'll reply in the comment section. Keep in mind that I do make things for people. If you'd like something made just for you, just let me know. And please visit my art shop. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.